So today what we're going to talk about is this thing called the break statement. So the break statement is just a command that whenever it hits it, if you are inside a loop, it will just pop you out of the loop. That's all it does. Now, you can't just like put it blindly inside your loop, because if it's just always there, then you'll just enter the loop as soon as you hit it the first time, you'll hop out. So why did you even have a loop at that point? So it usually doesn't happen by itself. It's usually in conjunction with some kind of decision or some kind of if statement, so that only under certain circumstances will it hop out, okay? So you could have a while loop, it's got a whole bunch of statements, and then you have some Boolean expression of whatever kind of logic you happen to be looking for, and then you literally just have this single command called break. As soon as it hits break, it hops down to end while. It just carries on, okay? It just passes everything else. If this doesn't happen, you increment your counter and you keep going around and it'll just carry on. If this never happens and you eventually, this Boolean expression becomes false, then you would just hop out, okay? Same thing for a for loop. Once again, you have some kind of statement that is checking something, and if this happens, break will just hop you out, okay? So in this example program, we're going to ask the user for a number. It's going to count through the numbers, except as soon as it happens to hit 5, it's going to stop. Okay, so it's the same kind of counting that we've been doing, but this time, as soon as you hit 5, it's going to stop. So the flow chart's going to look pretty similar. We have start, we get the number, we have some kind of looping structure. I picked a for loop. It's going to print it out, but then I have my if statement, okay? And if mine is greater than or equal to 5, then you break and you just go to stop. So notice it hops you out of this loop that you had from before, okay? And in Python, it would look something like this. So we're still getting the number, we're still going through the loop, we're still printing things out, but now I'm checking if it's greater than or equal to 5, and notice break is highlighted, so it's a reserved word. Remember, that means you can't create a variable called break. So a couple of people had a variable called sum a few days ago, and sum turns out to be a reserved word too, and it didn't like that either. Okay, so these reserved words, for, if, break, you can actually look up a list. You can't use those for variable names because they mean something special to it. So I'm just going to put a breakpoint here so that we can run our program. So I'm going to put in 9. So we're going to loop through from 0 to, remember, range positive 9. So this is, I'm going to add that to my watch. Remember, in Python, it actually does all of the counting for me. So it's going to start at 1, it's going to stop at 9. Sorry, it starts at 0, goes to 9, but remember, it doesn't really go to 9, it's less than 9. So it's going to go from 0 to 8. And because I didn't specify, it's going to step up by 1. Okay, so it's just going to print them out here. We come back, our loop counter is going to turn into 1. So there it is. It's going to print it out. 1's greater than 5. Now it's going to make it 2. 2 is greater than 5. 3. This time it's going to make it 4. It's going to print out 4. 4 is greater than, sorry, if 4 is greater than or equal to 5, well, it's not, so it's still going to hop out of this. But now, loop counter is 5. It's going to print out the 5th one. This is now going to become true. And right from here, we just hop out. Okay, so as it suggests, as soon as you hit it, it just stops.